Hi you guys, so this is a video working with map locations. This isn't going to be the best quality. I have to zoom in really close on my grid paper so that you could see it, but this is such a fun lesson, probably hands down my favorite out of all of this book. Map locations are so fun. So we use maps all the time. You might have seen maps before when you go to an amusement park or you go to even to visit a new city, a museum. And today I'm going to teach you how to answer the questions out of your book using map locations. And I'm going to relate it to looking at a map on a zoo. Now this doesn't look like your classic zoo map, but this is what it's going to look like in your book. So they're going to ask you things such as how to get from one spot to another by using certain lingo that we use when we're looking at a map. So I always like to refer to our compass and what we use when we're using directions on a map. So we use north, east, south, and west. So if you want to write that down somewhere, you can. Make sure that north is pointing up, east is to the right, south is down, and west is to the left. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a scenario, and we're going to talk about how we get from one place to another. I'm going to zoom in really close, and if you guys can see, this is on grid paper. So each little square, if I go like this, from this point to this point, just one is called a unit, and that would be 1 unit. If I went up another one, that would be 2 units. So units are based on each side of all those little squares you see on this grid paper, and that's what you'll see in your book as well. So my scenario is that I am at the zoo entrance, and I want to know the directions and how far it is for me to get to, let's say, the monkeys exhibit. So what would you say to me to get to the monkeys exhibit? So this is how we figure that out. I'm going to count very carefully and use my finger one by one to talk about how many units and what are the directions, okay? Let's do units first. So if I move from the zoo entrance, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units, and that was 6 units east. You can also say 6 units right, that's fine. And then once we go 6 units right, or east, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go 4 units north, or you can say up. So if the question said, how many units does it take to get from the zoo entrance to the monkey exhibit, I would say it's going to take 6 units east and then 4 units north. Let's go from the monkey exhibit to the lion exhibit. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Notice I stop right here because this line is in sync. It's lining up with where my lion's exhibit is, right? I'm not going to go all the way up here, then go to the left, then go all the way down. You want the shortest distance it will take, okay? So 1, 2, 3. So that would be 3 units north, and then 1, 2. 2 units west because I'm going left or west. Now let's see what it takes to get from the lion exhibit to the penguin exhibit. Now notice here that there are 2 options. So you might have a scenario where you have 2 answers. I could go this way. I could go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Either way, it's the same amount of units. It's just going either, do you want to go down first or do you want to go left? So sometimes your book might ask you create 2 answers or 2 directions on how to get from point A to point B. Now let's say I want to go from penguins to bears. This one is a good example as well because it happens to be on the same line. So all I need to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be 5 units north. And that would be it. All right, you guys, I know that was a very short example, but I hope you have fun. I definitely recommend you creating your own and giving someone the directions or asking them questions how to get from point A to point B and have some fun with it. All right, you guys, check out the other videos related to map locations as we start to do ordered pairs.